Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks. Just before we start though, I just want to make a couple of announcements that Malik is taking over the Indian stocks now, so he will be doing covering the 50 of those, plus probably next week we'll be looking at doing two intraday videos each day, one for the morning session and one in the afternoon session for the Nifty 50, so that's in the pipeline. Also, we've got Simon who started the US ETF, so we've got 25 ETFs here now for this, and they'll also be put up in the chat section as well. And there's some covered call strategy ETFs in there, and most of the leading sort of industry tech, bio, all of those sorts of things are in there as well. They're also in the chat lounge as well. Next week we'll also be testing a portfolio for dividends as well, so we'll be adding another portfolio in here designed more so for investors and longer term traders. So we'll put that out there and we'll test it, and then we'll get some feedback on it, and then everybody can have their opinion, and we can add things to it if you feel that's necessary, or take things away, all of those sorts of things. Okay, so that's all that I really needed to say about that. Okay, so we're looking at the SPX here. Now we've got two counts. The primary count is having an ABC pattern here for this. This is a daily chart for this market, and for this market we can look at I was thinking about about the low. Now when we do have bear markets as such like this, or large corrections, and we can kind of look around the the equinox, the 20th to the 21st, depending northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, pretty much the same. So the changeover, so the northern people will be having spring, and we'll be going into winter here. But in a lot of bear markets or big corrections, if we're around the March period, it could be a little bit earlier, it could be a little bit later, but it's always a nice sort of date to keep in to keep in mind. Now the equinox, of course, back in the day with futures contracts and all and other derivatives and things, that the seasonal aspect of it comes in, the change of season, and then because of that change of season, all the accounting comes into it in the old days. But these days we'll have futures contracts and options contracts expiring around the 21st. So that's probably this Thursday, Friday could be a nice day to see this finish off here for this. So that's just a sort of a, I wouldn't take it too seriously, but that's it there. So this is one count we've got an ABC pattern here. Now the other pattern that we should just be looking at too while we're at the beginning of the week here, I'll just have a look at the alternative count for this, just to keep a bit of an eye on it. And it's a bit like this here, where we have a much deeper correction here, a larger ABC. Now it's also possible to bring this A wave here over to this low here, because that's what we're expecting this week, a little rally here as a corrective move, and then a move down, and put this B wave over here. But I'd like to go a little bit extreme on this to sort of check it in. And the reason for this is putting the top over here for this, and basically, if I can just bring in the other counts here, look at this as 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, and then for the count here of 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3, 4, 5. So it is possible to have a count like this, especially when you have a look at stocks like, let's have a look at a bank here. Have a look at Goldilocks for a moment, because see, the reason I want to point out here is because they've just had nice clean tops here for this. I'm looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5 to come down or I can look at it as an A and a B and a C and have a low in here. I don't think that's the case. But if we do get 5 waves down here in this instance here, then that ABC pattern will come up. So first of all, I can have an A and a B and a C wave in here, which is the same as 1, 2, 3 here, right? But if I get 4 and 5 here, then that kind of brings it out to a different sort of play over here, bring it over to an ABC pattern over here. That's where that larger pattern comes in from, the, you know, having a top in play here, because, you know, there's quite a clean sort of top here. I mean, obviously it's not the only one. There's Amazon and there's, you know, there's a whole range of them. So it's just something in the background that we're, you know, that I'm looking at. But coming back to here and just looking at the primary count here for this will be this ABC pattern here. So with all things in the market, you know, sometimes things are very clear and you can sort of project out and you can get all excited and you can trade it out and it's all good. Other times you need to go step by step, and this is the case when, especially when you're in, you know, in a correction, until the correction really matures, then you know, you kind of just better to move forward in a very sort of practical way. So we're looking for something like this here. So it's this impulse wave that we really want to be able to have, you know, in play here. So yeah, looking at this week, having this low here later in the week here, so we'll have to count 5 waves down here. This one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, 4 or 5 days. So yeah, it's kind of, I'm just comparing wave 1 and wave 3, wave 5 here, because the extension will be in wave 3. So yeah, that's what we're sort of looking at in a bit of a nutshell. We can just drop into, let's just go to the 30-minute chart here without getting too into it. So basically we're looking for, let's go to push up there a little bit higher. So that momentum will sort of flow through from Friday, but yeah, when that tops, we're looking for one more turn down here. And of course, if we get this wrong, then as always, it's not such a big drama, because we'll have 5 waves up here, and if it pulls back here and doesn't come down here and turns and goes up, we'll be ready to look at being long above the top here and then dropping it down onto the second high. So we will be all over it. We are getting leads in stocks from, well, Nvidia is the obvious one, which I pointed out last week, and you know, we're still looking. Well, anyway, we'll get to Nvidia, but this is basically it here, you know, and this will be the same as the Nasdaq, so I won't go into a huge sort of spin about the Nasdaq and anything, but basically we're looking for the same sort of thing. So nothing really, even though the market's pushing up today, we're not that concerned. It's just retesting the 20,000, which is a major level, and then a move down here. How far it comes down is always a mystery, but we'll basically just be counting the 5-wave structure to the downside. We can, you know, we can look at projections and do all those sorts of ratio things, but you know, it'll just depend on you know, the 5-wave structure, what the sentiment is within that wave structure, what, you know, things are happening out there. But yeah, I mean, if the 20,000 becomes a tested support with a classic trading levels pattern, well, then we'll be looking to go long on that, of course, you know, but we need to wait for that first high. If that's the 20,000 here, we have to wait for that first high. We can start working the second high, but we can improve on that and we'll have an impulse wave here. And, you know, I don't think we're going to get that this time around, but if we did, we'll do it. We'll put it on our trading hat, you know, but in the meantime, we're just sitting with our analysis state of mind, and we'll just play that out there, you know. And I don't need to go, I can do the other ones later. I was thinking of the triple Q and stuff, but yeah, if we put trades in here for this, we'll put them in the stock check portfolio for triple Q and SPY trades in there. Okay, so over to Apple. Okay, so just on a 30-minute chart. Normally I'm on a 15-minute chart, and I'll just drop in these other ones here. So because the S&P and the Nasdaq were looking for wave 4 and wave 5, we can consider that with most of the stocks. And if stocks like Nvidia that have pulled up here further, then we'll expect them to top out as wave one and pull back for wave two. Whatever pattern that you're looking at in the market, you can expect, you know, a move up and then a move down, you know. So you need to tie that into whatever wave count that you're looking at with any particular stock. But that's pretty much it there. So a nice solid bounce off the major level 200 here, or even before that. We'll see how that plays out. And you know, this is just the ABC pattern here that we're looking at. We're just tracking 5 waves here, so we're not at the end, but we're near the end. I could put a low in here, but it's no point bringing the wave 2 over to here and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we'll just see if I get this wrong and there's a nice impulse wave coming up here. We'll just get the pullback on it. So it doesn't matter. We're not going to miss anything, you know. Like I say, I never get the best price. I don't go for the best price. I could in some cases, but I just don't do that. I put safety first. So that's what we'll be looking at there. Okay, over to Amazon, and we're doing the same thing again here as well. We're looking for wave 3 here with an A wave and a B wave and a C wave for wave 4, and then wave 5 to move down. It may move down to the 180. It's just basically, you know, this pattern at the 200 here is just a typical sort of bearish pattern where it's migrating from being support to resistance over here. So we call this the arrival, the reaction, the first low below the level, the ABC, and then down again. So in a very clean sense, it's this pattern here, which is the second most common pattern. It can move back above the level here. In this case, this is the most common pattern, but in this case, I don't think it's going to move too far. It may just move a little bit above the pattern, but that's basically what we're looking at here. So you could look to short this if you would like, but it may not reach the 180. It's just that this is the closest largest number at that point. Okay, so this is Nvidia, and so last week we talked about, you know, counting an impulse wave to the upside. So that's sort of where we are now. When the S&P and the Nasdaq top out in their wave 4s up here, they'll pull down to their wave 5s. So this will pull down to wave 2. Now, how far will it come down? I don't know. It just depends on how much pressure it's under. But that's basically where we are at the moment for this market. I'll just see what Alessio's count is. So for folks that are new to Trading Lounge, all the analysts are starting to put their counts in here. So Alessio also covers this as well, so you can have a look at different analyst accounts through here. Okay, Alessio's got this low in here as well, so that's that. And of course, you can do your own using this Elliott Wave algorithm here to do your own counting, or, you know, doing algorithm counting, or you can use the AI tool over here as well. So that's I don't really have to do much about this. I mean, really, this is just going to be some sort of move up. 125 is the next highest number in here, so 125, it probably reached that, and then there'll be some sort of ABC pattern here. How far it pulls back, I don't know, but we'll look for the first impulse wave here. We could go long above this B wave up here, or, you know, the first little impulse wave here. Anyway, we'll see. It might want to come down and cover that gap. We'll just see how that plays out. This is Meta, and with Meta, we've also looking for a further low here. I do have a little 5 waves up here. It's a bit dodgy, but 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 for the third, fourth, and fifth, and then this is definitely an ABC pattern. It's struggled to move up here. You know, so I'm not quite sure the best way to sort of handle this. I don't know if I need to put wave 4 over here, probably, and then look at wave 5 to go down. So we'll probably get something. Probably need to look at that as 1 2 3 4 5 for 1 and 2. And then 3 4 5, something like that, and then down at that point. I don't want to go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. That's definitely 1 2 3 4 5. And technically, we should be coming, you know, somewhere up here for this, but it just hasn't moved up, so it's quite weak in that sense. So anyway, I'm not quite sure the best way to resolve this at the moment. It's really all about this medium level here, this 650. That's the closest largest number. Otherwise, we'll be coming down here. So I'll just leave this, and I can see that it can be counted in different ways, and it doesn't really matter because, you know, the markets will be the markets, and they'll all go together pretty much. I mean, obviously there'll be leaders and followers. All you need to work out, if we get this low here correct on you know, the majority of the markets will be going up from that point, and you just need to work out, you know, what favorite stocks that you have at that point. Okay, so we've got Netflix here. Netflix can do its sort of own thing a little bit. We've got everything's pretty much accounted for here. I mean, I could rearrange this in here and have this as a wave 4 here as well, but it's getting a little bit high for a wave 4, and this is a little ABC pattern here, so technically we should take out that top. I would like to go long here, but the thing is that, you know, I know that the rest of the markets are, you know, the rest of the markets are going up for a wave 4, and then they're coming down for a wave 5. So when they come for that wave 5 down, it's going to pull this down. So even though I've got this kind of right here, I just don't know. Don't know the best way to handle this. It's going to do something. Do something a little bit weird. Be something, you know, because it's got to come down. It's got to come down with the rest of the market. It doesn't have to, but you know, it's highly likely to. You know. Just seeing if there's another way I can count this. Anyway, I'll just wait. I mean, normally I'd go long here, you know, but I just don't have. Normally I'd go long here, but I just don't have the. I just don't have the rest of the market with me at this point, and I don't. I need the mass momentum to take us for a ride at that point. So I'll just leave this one, but looking good, I have to say. And over to Google. Okay, so the same thing with Google. It's got to, you know, it's got to come. It has to come down with the rest of with the Nasdaq and the S&P. So I don't know the best way to look at this here, but it's probably something like this to come down here further. I mean, this little move here that's moved up here, because that's dropped here, that's left that in 3 waves. So this is corrective here. You know, it may be that we've got to put wave 2 over here for this, you know. I mean, it does create an extra leg as well. So what I mean is that the other markets will come down in 5 waves. So this still has to do a 4 and a 5. So it's not quite right here. I wonder if that was a top on the after hours market or something. Anyway, there's nothing to do here at this point anyway. Whichever way, this count may or may not be right at this point. It just puts in an extra leg of while the other markets are pushing to the upside, this will go a 4 and a 5, another leg to the downside. So it's possible, but yeah, we'll just see about that. And we're over at Tesla. And the same thing here as well. We've got a nice A wave and B wave and quite a strong C wave actually. Do you know? I mean, if this was bullish, these counts, it would be 1 and 2 here and then 1 and 2. But it leaves that top exposed. So if this comes, when this does come back down for an ABC or whatever, then, you know, whatever the case may be, when it does come back down, we'll be able just to have that as the long trade above there. So it kind of, we're going to get it anyway. You know, even if we're wrong, we're going to get it. So just a matter of being cautiously tactical. Okay, so that's Microsoft. Let's just have a look at Tesla. Okay, so last time we spoke about this market, we were looking the same sort of thing again as wave 3 here, looking for an A and a B and a C. I might have had this a bit closer down here, but Just sort of thinking about this gap here, and this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5. So it needs to go up a little bit higher. Does it need to come down to the 200? It might be 210 or something like that, but it will track the other markets. But I mean, it's Tesla's basically burning in the street, so to speak, and but it should just move with the rest of the market. So we'll just see how that sort of plays out. But this is not finished. Can it be more bearish? Can we look at it when we looked at the S&P alternative count where we can come down further? Yeah, that's possible. All I'm doing today, and all I have been doing, is looking at it going step by step, and the step is really with most markets is looking for wave 4, coming down for wave 5, and then we're going to see if we can get 5 waves to the upside. If we get 5 waves to the upside, there'll be an A and a B and a C, and then we can go along above the B wave here. That's pretty much it. That's all we're looking for. Do we get this? I can't say for sure. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but if we get it, then we'll know what to do. If we get 3 waves up here, right, then we'll know we'll be going down again further at that point. So this is all we're doing at this stage. So that's that, and then we come over to Bitcoin. Just going to start on the daily chart here, if that's cool. I'll just take these off here, and this is I just think we'll have one more low in line with the Nasdaq. So I've got a count that just does that, and that's that. So that's what I'm looking at at there for this. I think the other boys had a count here too, didn't they? Let's just have a look at these counts. Okay. So Samny's got a count coming down like that as well. So we're all in this. I think we're pretty much in the same boat, really. Yeah. We just got to count it a bit differently. I'm more of an ABC man. So more than a WXY. But that's. And if we just go to the 30 minutes here, I'll just get rid of this here. I mean, this is how I was sort of looking at it, So we got some sort of ending thing here with wave 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 here, and 5 here, the same as the Nasdaq. Let's see how it goes. I mean, if it pushes up and finds support on the 90, then we'll need to look at it a little bit differently, and that would mean that this B wave would need to sit on top of where wave 2 is, and then this C wave would come over where the low is. But let's just see how it sort of plays out here. I mean, this little pattern here, by the by, this one here, from here to this top here, is corrective, so we will be pushing up higher. Did we make a new high there? Not quite. So we should still make a new high pushing up at that point. How you want to count that up is, you can get 5 waves out of this with an A and a B and an A and a B and a C here. So the A, the B, and the C wave over here. You could probably even WXY this whole thing up here as well. It doesn't really matter. I just really want to see how it sort of plays out with the, with the rest of the world at this point. Okay, so I'll just leave it all at that. Thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the week ahead.